Hello, everybody. How are you doing? Hey, I gotta wake up. Hi. Oh, let's see. I gotta hit this button right there. Welcome. Let's see. Is that right? Oh, it's a little bit bright. So let's turn this down just a. Let's see if we can get the camera to be a little bit better. How you doing? Oh, that's a little bit too dark. Okay. And that's even darker. 1, 2, 3, 4. There. Hey, perfect. I think. Let's go. Just A73. How you doing? Welcome. Hey, we're doing a live stream. Yeah. Get my microphone out of the way. Just barely out of the way. So you just barely don't see it, but it's there. And I thought we'd start here. Because I've been working on new drums that I want to add to this. Let's go to Groove Summit. There's 5 camps. Let's go to the mix here. There's 5 camps of grooves. It's a very big mountain because I think there's 4 camps for Mount Everest. So we're more than that. Camp 3 has gotten to be a really cool camp. This is the acoustic drums. And it's all the drum kit with MIDI file grooves and stuff like that. So let's go over here and let's say ride pop. And now, if I wanted to, let's do this. Because I got the mod wheel triggering these drums, so I have to be careful how I play it. But instead of this vibe, let's open this up. There's a dead drum kit, which has, I want to have doubles of everything. Oh, you know why? I know why. I did a thing here at the end. 1 second here. We'll go over here real quick. Not there. To here. And get rid of that. Hit the rebuild button one more time. There. No more doubles. Let's go to the dead kit. This is Lovers, which is a cool groove from. Now, if I want, I can go down here to the macro knobs and I have a control for double time. You know, and on and on. I'll show you more about the library when we get to that part of the live stream. But anyway, hello, welcome. My name is John Limcool. We do these live streams every week at my little house here in Eagle, Idaho. Not in Los Angeles. I lived in LA for 18 years. I lived in Portland for 18 years. I moved here last May to be closer to my family. My mom and dad are 82 and 85. They are thriving, although mom's been fighting pneumonia. She's doing better, by the way. Last week was kind of scary because I got a call from my dad in the live stream saying, I'm taking the mom to the hospital. And turns out mom didn't want to go. So she fought going and ended up being fine. But it was like, oh my gosh, but they're doing better. She's been on some really strong antibiotics and stuff that are helping. Let's get the chat stream over here because I haven't said hi to you guys in the stream yet. But hello, welcome. Welcome to the stream. Let's see, let's move this over here so it's out of the way. So glad you are joining today. Welcome. So we do this each week. I've been doing this for about 6 years, every Saturday. I think I've missed maybe a dozen at the most Saturdays in 6 years. So it's something I just love. I love connecting with our customers. I own a website, pluginguru.com. I make patch libraries for all sense of synths. In fact, here, let's do a little self-promotion for a second. I never do self-promotion very well because it's not my forte, but I do need to mention that I do have a website we have some things going on I want to make you aware of. Let's see. Let me go to OBS really quick. Make sure you guys can see this right. I'm using a spiffy big monitor, so it has a crazy, as you can see from the camera in the back. Here, if we go to just the Osmos by itself, I have this 49-inch monitor. It's crazy. So the live stream and the chat and OBS is over here on the right. What you guys see is right here in the middle of the screen. And I still have this whole area over here for, you know, talking with my girlfriend. I don't have a girlfriend. So, but if I was, I could. So it's pretty crazy. But anyway, I own a website, pluginguru.com. We have many products at this point. I've been doing this since 2009. There's like over probably 120 libraries now. For all sorts of synthesizers. In 2020, I released UNIFY, which now has maybe the most libraries. Not quite. I think Omnisphere is still the king, but if any of you guys are web browser gurus, I would love a suggestion from someone on what type of a way of organizing a pull down menu. It's a nightmare. And I have something that's giving me this, which is kind of useless, but it's better than nothing, I guess. But you can also just click products and see them. But the reason we're over here real quick is I wanted to point out, we have, I started UNIFY. Fast story short, it was started with a partner friend of mine, Shane Dunn. I'm not sure if he's in the chat or not. But he has since moved on to another job, not in the music industry. He got a dream of a lifetime job that he took. And we have someone new working with us on UNIFY 2, which is in the works. It's going to be really cool. His name is Paul Carter. And he has made a number of synthesizers himself. And so as of earlier in this, early February, we put his synthesizer out on my website. We got it set up so that the licensing works and everything. This weekend is the last weekend that they are at 40% introductory price off. So you can get Hyperion, which is normally $129 for $77.40, which is just crazy. But this ends Sunday night. Moonflower Tapes is a really cool library from Bob Dede's. He might be in the chat. I'm not sure. Hey, there's Wave Sequencer. There he is. That's Paul. Everybody say hi, Paul. Give him some positive vibes, man. He is chopping into UNIFY's interface. Wait till you see what we are doing. You won't recognize it, but you will recognize it. But it's really cool. It's a serious upgrade. We're doing some. It will be a paid update to UNIFY when it comes out because I am paying Paul for the work he's doing. We can't do this for free. But it's going to be really cool. Where it is going, and we're hoping, May, June, April, May, June. I don't know. It's kind of like the way that ID used to do their video games. We'll release it when it's ready. But there's some really exciting stuff coming. I can't tell you a lot about it yet because there's so much other stuff to talk about. I don't need to talk about it. But anyway, everybody say hi, Paul. I bought it all again. I love you guys. I tell you, this is the funnest. I look forward every Saturday to hanging out with you. And I know a lot of you guys look forward to hanging out in this group and chatting. It's just a really nice, you guys are a great group of people. I really appreciate that you're not only a great group of people, you're great customers. This is an agreed adventure we are doing together, right? So anyway, he has his 2 products now at the website and 3 libraries, which are really cool libraries. Let me show you those really quickly here. They've been unified, so they're available in UNIFY format. There's Hyperion, which, let's see, if we go over here to like generative rain, I think just in a sound, yeah, it's just a sound effect. It's actually, since it's generative, it just takes off and starts playing. If you're not familiar with the way that Hyperion works, it's a full-blown modular synthesizer and can create, it's already generating. Hey there, Simeon. Welcome, brother. I got to see Simeon in Los Angeles and meet him in person, give him a big hug. Super cool. So here's Hyperion. All of this is going on to make the sound that you're hearing. And we have, if we go over here, we have controls for the sound to minimize it and change it and so forth. By the way, for the interface for Hyperion, I'm happy to say I figured it out. If you click right here, this takes you to the overall combination interface. This is where the play page is, basically, right? If you click below this on the patch, it will show you the layout of the patch. And then if you click in the little browser here, this is where you go to the patch browser for selecting, and that's the 3 basic modes of Hyperion. It was confusing for a long time for me, and I finally figured it out. There's 3 different overviews of the interface, basically inside of Hyperion. So if you want to see, and then right here, if you hit the plus button, I think right here, you can add an additional layer. Then it's like UNIFY, and you can like build layers. Go over here, and you could say, I want to have like a boy choir, and now I'm playing a boy choir with my rain, with my bubbly atmosphere. That's awesome. So if you're seeing the chat, let me get a different sound. I love ambiances, but it's hard to talk over the top of that. There's really, really great pads. So if we go over here, these, Paul's a very deep programmer and a very thoughtful programmer. So this is part of the Cinematic Landscapes library, which is available for $20 right now. So if you have Hyperion or Theia, I also want to point out Theia is basically 2 of the 3 pages. It's this page, which is what it calls up with, and then the basic browser for getting around with loading patches and stuff. What you don't get with Theia is you don't get this. You don't get the, oh my God, what the heck is going on, you know? But after you work at this a little bit, it stops being intimidating, just because you can click each of these, and here are now the parameters. So you can change things in the sound. This is something you cannot do in Theia. Right? You'll also notice its loading patch is super spiffy. Last week I shared a tip. We have a special ability inside of UNIFY called, well, I don't know what we call it. We don't have a trademark name, but it doesn't do the library refresh and doesn't have to load all of the assets. So it can load super, super quickly. Let me show you about that really quick. That is, and also I should mention that there is updates on the website. Just if you log in, and if you want, and you bought Hyperion from another place, because Traction also is selling Hyperion and Theia. If you go to the Read More page and you go over here to where it says demo version, it's actually the full version, because the demo version is just the full version without a license key, right? And this will take you to the page to get the latest version of Hyperion, which has some MPE fixes. Paul now got himself one of the Osmos keyboards, and by owning an MPE keyboard, you will be working in it's more than just turning on the MPE mode inside of the software. He's now using it and going, oh, I want it to work this way, and adjusting things so it's even more refined. So I would recommend, if you're working with MPE keyboards, make sure you get the update. Should get the update anyhow. You don't get to pop the hood to see inside. Exactly. So anyway, both the Theia page and the Hyperion page, if you go to the demo, where is it at? I'm tough at reading, but the demo version, that will take you to a page. It's a Dropbox link which has the latest versions of Theia, which is now at 1.21, and Hyperion, which is at 1.64, okay? So you can get there to get the latest updates, just fresh off the press. We put them up last night. But I was going to show you this thing. Okay, so if I go over here and I go to Dropbox and I have to go this, I think I put it into the freebies. Let me see where I put this. Yeah, here it is. So here is the link. I would recommend only doing this if you are familiar with computer operating systems and so forth, because it is a little bit, you're going into your computer, there is a chance you can blow stuff up. So, but what you have to do on the PC, it's a different location, but you go on the Mac, you go to your user, and then you have to hold down Option and go to the Go tab to Library, and then you go to Application Support, and then you go to Plugin Guru, and there's a folder, and if you search on your computer on your PC for the folder Plugin Rules-UNIFY, you will find this folder, and this has rules for the accept rules. And by putting into this list of these companies, what it does is it tells UNIFY for these specific ones, don't load all the assets every time. It puts it into a special mode, and we added wavesequencer.com, as you can see right here. So if you add this list, and you have to have the typing perfect. You have to use not just the text editor, but like that's why you just be careful with this. But if you use let's see if we go over here and let's move. So here's the link I gave you is to this. If you double click it, hello. I'm gonna put it over here. The joy of big monitors. And here they are. So you just take these two files and put them into the Plugin Guru rules the Plugin Guru rules-UNIFY. You replace the files with these. They're the exact same names. By doing this, you have updated UNIFY in a cool way because Shane has a lot of plugins and he has added these rules to Omnisphere and so forth. So now when you change patches, it's almost instantaneous. And if you don't have that reuse rules, it takes seconds to load some of these because of how complex they are. But now that loads them super quick. Okay, so for those of you that have Theia and Hyperion, if you use the unified libraries to navigate, now if you open up Hyperion, I think it works in a similar speedy way. If we go over here to the patches, no, see how so it is? So UNIFY can load Hyperion patches faster than Hyperion can, because Hyperion, it has to do this like erase everything, reload everything. Somehow UNIFY is able to load it very quick. So just so you know, there is that UNIFY is a Swiss Army knife for lots of things, and here it's able to load the patches faster than the plugin can load the patches. Now Paul is going to see this and probably go, I bet you I can figure out how he did that and put it into Hyperion. So we might see him add that in the future. I don't know, but anyway, there's super cool sounds inside of these libraries. There's 3 of them. There's the classic classic synth tones, which and you'll see that there's a lot of names to all sorts of references to all sorts of things that you've heard in songs, you know. So these libraries work for both Theia and Hyperion. They're on sale until Sunday night. Also, I wanted to point out Moonflower Tapes is the 6th library by Bob Dede. And this is a whole different vibe. This is going into a whole different direction where he has, let's go down here to these cool demo things that like call up everything so you can hear what's going on. And then there's knobs over here for control. So it's for ambient, chill, all sorts of fun things in that kind of category of sounds. It's really beautiful. I love this library. There's some bonus patches we've released. We put the link into our chat. There's 3 bonus patches available. Copy the Dropbox link. We'll put that into the right. Yeah, nice. If I just accept rules for, what if I just add accept rules for percentage? I don't know if that's asking for problems or not. I don't think Shane's here. Maybe Paul will know. I don't know, but I would say if anything, make sure that you just because I think it's very vendor based. You have to describe what the vendor is so it knows that when it gets to it that it's going to work in a certain way. So I wouldn't take. Quick question: how can I add a drum loop to continue playing after releasing a key? How do I get a drum loop to continue playing after I release a key? Yeah, okay, right. That would be using latch, because otherwise it's, well, either that or you have, what I do in a lot of libraries is I will set up, like, especially if you're setting something up, Simeon, for if you're going to play live and you want to work in a certain way. A good example, there's a whole bunch of BPM splits in Cloud City. Let's see if we go BPM splits, where I put all these fun things. Let's see if I go to like Deep Blue Eyes, I believe. High C I have set up, and I've let's see, they're playing and I have them windowed so that they're only on C6 for playing these grooves, right? So then I can so I've separated the drums for control, and I have, as you see, latch turned on to these guys, and then on the transport page just set the windowing so that anything you play down here, if I had this down to the bottom of the keyboard, it might mess up. It's gonna mess up the timing of the groove, so it restarts every time I play a note. So you wanna have this windowed up to high C. So whatever I do down here doesn't start the clock. Right? So that's one way to do it. There's so many ways to do it. If you noticed in the keys, I was doing another a variation on this. If you go to the BPM splits, where these mod wheel jams, this is where I assign the mod wheel, and I'm using trigger box, and I've set it up so that it is set up so that it ignores the notes, and when I get a CC, it sends a note on, and I tell it what note to play. And that way I can control volume and everything like that. So I'm using my mod wheel. You know, to do the playing. So there's so many ways. There's probably more ways than just these couple of ways to get triggering to work in UNIFY. But those are some of the main ways that I will do it. Unless you're dealing with a sequencer where it can be on a different MIDI channel. So then you could have sequences, note on and offs happening from an external sequencer. That works as well if you wish. Let's see here. One of the Moonflower tapes, for instance. Okay, so let's do this. Okay, you got it? Okay, cool. You got some ideas. So there's possible ways. Use these patches as examples, and then all you have to do is on the trigger box, just change this into, go to UNIFY and say UNIFY instead of Guru Sampler. And now you can go to any drum loop anywhere and use that to trigger. Okay, so it's kind of set up templates. It's one thing that's nice with all the patches. In a lot of cases, there are templates to set you up how to do that. So there's different ways of triggering the grooves and so forth to work with. So yeah, and let's say that we were here. Let's do this. Let's do something and use the new library because we're working on a new drum library. So that ties in. Very nice segue there, my friend. In a little while, I'm going to show you Spitfire, or not Spitfire, but Crow Hill. It's not Crow Hill. It's not Spitfire. It's Crow Hill. They have a new incredible brass library. I've actually unified it, but I haven't made it into a unified library yet. But I will make it into a unified library and get it to you in real time while we're in the live stream. Another question. Do you need to have a DAW running to play along with patches? Say if I want to play drums with UNIFY, do I need to have a DAW running to play along with patches? No, you don't. What I do a lot of times, let's do this. I'm going to show you Groove Summit, and I'm going to kind of jump to just to the end here. So if we go here to, once you get past C5, we get to these summits. This is where I've put everything together to put into some really cool things. I just did this one yesterday. This is super cool. Right? So I got a cool groove. It's taking up all the bandwidth, so I might hold down Option, turn it down a little bit. And then I'm going to go to a totally different library, like Mega Magic Guitars Volume 4. Here's a split, let's say the jam guitar. So I'm going to load this into a new UNIFY layer. So it's going to load an additional UNIFY layer right here for this patch. If the volumes aren't quite right, adjust them as you need. So I might bring this up just a little bit more. And by doing that, I'm going to need to turn the guitar back down. So double click on the volume of this to reset to 0. Get the volume that you like, and then this is a separate UNIFY with this drum grooving on, this groove playing. So I could go to any library. I could go, oh, I want to go to Hyperion, and I want to play with some sort of really cool keys. So we say just click on this. We load up our patch. And it goes. Now, if you want to do something where it's a latch and it keeps playing all the time, you could go up. It would be a lot of work in this case because this whole drum groove, one of the cool things with this library is I'm making it into separate layers of all the elements because with UNIFY 2, we will have separate audio output assignments for every element. I want to test the crap out of that to make sure it works right. So I decided I would make a library that requires separate elements to be tested and stuff like that. Yes, Rob, those are all Paul. He has a number of videos. If you do search for Hyperion on YouTube, Hyperion Synth on YouTube, you will find Paul's channel. He has showing MPE with the new flutes, and he's now put some of those available for you to download, I believe he said. All sorts of cool things. So yeah, he's on it, man. Been doing some good things there. So yay. There you go. Okay, Taylor's here helping out. Thank you, Taylor, for helping out. I'm so happy with. Hey, shout out to Taylor. I gotta do a shout out myself right now to Taylor. Shout out to Taylor. I appreciate him so much for all the help he does. Anyway, so that would be how you could get. So find a groove that you like, and then on a separate unified layer, you can load up whatever you want. I'm running standalone. I'm not inside of a sequencer. This is just a standalone version of UNIFY playing, right? So yes, UNIFY 2 will be backwards compatible for sure. That's guaranteed. It would be suicide to not have it be backwards compatible. So yes, absolutely. Anyway, so Groove Summit is a crazy library. I'm up to 530 patches. And and there's probably another 300 more patches to go. So I'm still, you are seeing me climbing the mountain as we speak. I think we got the artwork. Here's the artwork for the library. It's not exactly what I wanted. I worked with AI and Midjourney to create this image, and I have all sorts of drums on the tops of an epic mountain. But this kind of says it in a cool way. And then these different colors of the different camps. Because the concept of this library is really, really fun. I wanted something that was encompassing all my favorite groove elements. And I didn't get to, here, this is where the big monitor is going to be nice, because I go Lightroom. I want to show you guys just a couple of things. I sampled, when I get to the drum kits in Camp 3, oh my gosh, they are just sublime. So let's see here. Let's shrink this down, get you over here, and go like this, and make sure that this isn't seen there. So I can find, I'm going to show you a couple pictures of the drum kit. I sampled a drum kit in my entryway of this house, and it turned out even better than I could have possibly dreamed it could turn out. Oh, by the way, here's Athena saying hello. So she's doing good. She's, if I say her word name, she's going to come running in here, because she listens very closely for, if I go into my bedroom and I put on clothes, she's ready for a car ride. It's so funny. Anyway, so I bought Halloween last year this really, really cool drum set. Here in Idaho, a guy was moving, didn't have room for it. And so he sold it for an incredible price. It was just amazing. And then I did some added shopping. I found a really cool snare drum from a guy in Payette, Idaho, where my mom and dad live. This guy was selling this drum. And I bought cymbals, so I have all these cymbals. I also bought, let's see here, I think this shows, there's Athena. Where's the snare? Oh, and she's got a toy. Isn't that cute? It's all about the dog, man, all about the dog. I also bought this snare, and I love this snare. It's a beautiful, deep 7-inch, incredible snare. So I bought these drums, cymbals, all this stuff in October, and I've been sampling since then. And the first fruits of that were in the Electric Dreams, when I did an ambient drum kit. So when we get to camp, so the concept is there's camps. Each camp, and this has the biggest names I've made for patches before. You have to like scroll over here to see some of the names, because they get quite long and stuff like that. Camp 1, which kind of started this, a friend of mine in Germany released a library through ESC called Heartbeats. And so these are these unusual, cool, just unusual grooves. You have no idea what you're going to get with each one. There's 75 of them. The little horseshoe means it's got an actual, like a groove. If it's more like just like a weird timing, then it has the little dot at the end of the names. They're all over the place. Right? Camp 2 breakbeats. I chopped up my own breakbeats, processed them. Totally new MIDI files for everything, so it's nothing is the actual recordings. It's all drum samples and new MIDI file grooves for everything. Right? Okay, and any one of these you can turn off the MIDI file. And now you have all these samples on the keyboard to make really, really, really cool grooves. Camp 3's acoustic drums, the acoustic drum kit was what we did for Electric Dreams. And for this, I just had a stereo field recorder sitting in front of the drums. And if we take this and we go to Electric Dreams and we get like one of the cool splits. Let's say split, load this. You've got really cool vibey acoustic ambient drums. So that's one of 7 drum kits, acoustic. This library is epic. This is not a cheap library. It will be a little bit more expensive than my other libraries because of the massive, I've been working since October on this. So, but as you can see, there's numbers in Camp 3 for the drums, and stop 1 of Camp 3 are these acoustic drums. Acoustic kit number 2 is a snappy kit. Totally dry. Then we get to set 3, which is a no snare kit, which is the, there's jazzy, there's bossa rides, the toms, and if you turn off the MIDI box up here, you have a drum kit. General MIDI map layout, although bottom 2, this is the same drum kit I used to play live drums when I played with Korg in the early 90s at NAMM shows, when I was playing with Jordan Rudess on one side and Jack Hotop on the other, and I was the drummer, and I was... And you have a number of cymbals. Every one's on its own map. So there's a ride, there's a bell, there's a china on some kits, maybe not on this one yet, but there's a china in the map. Crash, splash. Where's the china at? I have it on F sharp. It's supposed to be on G. Wrong note assignment, but I'll fix that. Okay, and then on top of that, I just got done with the Dead High kit last night. So this is and these sounds, oh, it's just, again, I recorded this with 2 or 3 microphones for each of the drums, either there or right here in my little studio. No big studio. I wanted unique drums that don't sound like anything else, and I'm really happy with where it turned out. So if we go to 4 and we go to the split, right? So they sound. I'm so happy with the mixing. It's like, oh, thank God. I had to, I love how these libraries come together. I get so deep into them. You have no idea how deep the rabbit hole goes. But there's all of these really cool Dead High grooves, pop side stick, rocker, surf rocker, you know, typical pop. I love this one, Smile Smoke. This is a really cool groove. Groove Summit will be out in March. I have to get out in March so I can pay my bills. So I would keep going on this till like next year easily, but I have to have it out this month. So we are in March. It's March 1st. So probably by about I'm going to give myself 2 more weeks, I think. Okay, so Camp 3, all these drum grooves. This is Camp, Section 3 is Dead Kit. If you go down here to the drum kits, after all this stuff, the maps are available as separates as well, and the drum kits. So if you go to drum kit, you will see that there's Camp 3 drum kits. So here's the Ambi Rocker. By the way, A lot of work went into the toms are all in their own UNIFY layer so that we have panning control. So the high toms, I can pan them and have separate volume for each one. So that's too wide because you're kind of like sitting at the drum. Also the hi-hats, by using mono retrigger for the hi-hats, we have all the samples, including closed, 2 different closed for F. If we go to the notes so you can see what I'm playing. F sharp, G sharp, A sharp is the open, and then pedal. So I can build a complete legit drum kit, you know, drum machine with mono retrigger and all that stuff in UNIFY, which is pretty cool. So as you can see, there's all these kits. There's a lot more kits than I have made grooves for. I've only gotten up to dead high. So this is the kit. There's also going down low for the so there will be 15 grooves. Let's see. So it'll be grooves with that. There's a high funk with no snare. There's also high snappy. I'm going to work on that one a little bit more, and then low lazy. So those will have additional drum grooves, 15 or so for each one of those. Then there's electronic drum kits. I haven't even dived into Camp 4 hardly any, but there are incredible drum maps. Here's some kits for the breakbeats. I haven't made enough grooves with these, but I will make more. I have the grooves that I've made in the maps, but now that they're going to be in a map with toms and cymbals and stuff, I'm going to make some more grooves for those. There's future kits. There's all these categories of sounds, and then the summit is when they all get together and play. So I have made a handful. There will probably be 50 of these, if not more. Hey, Northwood. Welcome to the party. Jackpot. So, oh, and I didn't even show you Camp 5 is percussion. And it's crazy. I've now added the triangles, so we got really nice triangle. If you turn off the map, then you have like 40 samples of triangle to play, from tight to kind of loose on the closed. Then you have a number of open samples. You have some dinglings to play with as well, which is really, really cool. So there's that. There's 3 different tambourines. What else did I add? I still have to do the wood block. There's the talking drum. We got the congas done this week, so you're supposed to be playing a groove. You're not set up. Oh, I might have broke my congas. Yeah, I broke them. Okay, I can't show them, but anyway, there's on the conga. There's 3 different congas, and I have grooves. If I go to my trash, because I put it into the trash, I I can show you really quickly one of the BPM grooves with the congas, I think, because I don't know. It's so funny when I have to look in the trash. It takes it a second to open up. It's like, okay, well, there's a lot in the trash, I guess. So let's see if we go over here to the patches, Camp 5 congas. Where's my congas? Here we go. Like here's Latina. So there's slaps and mutes and all that kind of stuff. Timid. And it's a performance conga. It's a very cool thing. It's just the conga head with no body. It's the coolest looking congas. And so I sampled them for Cloud City. I've resampled them with totally new samples for this. So these are new samples. I tuned it to 3 different tunings to get a quinto, conga, and the tumba. So you have all of those to work with. Let's see, here's like, so if we were to go over here and say load into instrument 1, we could go to the triangle. I had to just do ding, you know. Let's see here. This is the steel spring. I have a steel string that I sampled like 50 samples from. I still have to do the agogo. I haven't done that, but I got the cowbell in here. So you can get pretty legit if you want just the acoustic stuff. Shakers. Right? There's a double shaker. There's an African shaker, which has its shells. That's just a break beat. Let's have it do another shaker and then pan these left and right a little bit. So you have all this as one camp out of the 5 camps. So we could go to camp 3. We've got to go to UNIFY layer because the drum kits are all sorts of crazy things. Sounds so good. Oh, I love it. I love it. And let's go to camp 1 and add some cool heartbeat thing. And let's add a break beat from camp 2, Teen Wolf. Yeah, man, look at that groove. And inside of the UNIFY layer, when you get to these, to the macro controls, I have all sorts of crazy controls set up. Oh, I don't have this one set up yet, but I will have, if we go over here to the full map and we go here to Groove Summit, MIDI effect, and we go to timing offset. That is a knob, and I go to the loading of a curve and say the middle gap. So if I want, I can shift the whole groove later. For every layer. Or I can make it a little bit faster if I want to anticipate. And it's amazing how these micro changes, only 13 milliseconds quicker, totally changes the vibe. Right? So the control over groove that you will have with this library is insane. I'm trying to make it just as many cool grooves. I'm aiming at 1,000 patches, so I have a long ways to go. I'll put this out there. If you are a groove monster and you love groove, send a note to UNIFY support at plugandgroove.com. Send me a couple examples, links to music or something that you love to do. I might hire a couple people to make grooves with all of these elements, because the last thing I'm going to do is load up the maps and then make completely new grooves inside of Logic to this. So there's so much to play with, and I've spent so much time making all of these sounds that just, they work so nice together for this really cool vibe. So there's an opportunity for some of you, but not many. It might not be at all. So, but I'd love to hear from people that would be interested in helping make grooves if you're into that thing. So but it's a huge amount of work. This has been 6 months in the works, and I'm not done yet. So yeah, I'm at a place, thanks to all of you buying my libraries, where I don't have to. I mean, in the early days, I had to release a library every month, and I don't have a big luxury. This has been going on while I've been releasing other libraries at the same time and stuff. But I'm happy to be at a place where I can apply a little more brain energy to developing and building something up that's more than something I have to release so I can pay my house payment, you know, because it's been that way for a long time. But thank you. So yeah, we'll be going at 1,000. I'm just going for, like, you know, I haven't seen a lot of libraries like this in a really long time that have just a huge, all-encompassing break beats, drums, percussion, all this stuff inside of it. So doing it all by myself so far. So it's coming out really good. Really, really happy with it. Maybe at the end, I'll make a couple grooves. We'll make some together. I should have saved. If I go to revert, let's see if I can get that one back. I think this will. I'm going to save that. So I love, if you don't know, anytime that you make something and then change patches, UNIFY is saving what you did. And if you right click on revert, it will show you up to whatever number you want. If you go to your settings page, you can tell it auto save 5 files. You can go up to 10 files. But anytime you change patches, if you had something going, anything that was different, it will save it automatically to a little place inside of the UNIFY folder. So you can right click and say, give me that back. I want that back. So I can say, this is at the summit. So this is summit. Grooveaholic. We'll call it that for now, because I am a certified grooveaholic. Okay, so I have something else to show you. Not a whole lot, but I wanted to take a little time, and I have to make it into UNIFY Library. Oh, good. Somebody here in Boise is selling an Akai Iwi USB MIDI controller. And I think I'm going to go pick it up because I want to have something for playing wind control. Yeah, Santana meets war, right? Love it, love it. And I haven't even, then there's all the adding of effects and distortion. These all have noise box. So like we could go to like even just the congas. Check out what this distortion does. Let's go to the drum grooves. Let's go over here to like, if you want, you can go to the whole groove. Oh, I was going to show you AI plugins too. Oh my gosh, I have a lot to show you all of a sudden. So let's just go to distortion, noise box. Go over here to the settings. High pass filter it. Then bring down the mix. Just to add a little extra hair to it. Okay, so yeah, we got a lot to show you. Okay, so let's do this. There is a UNIFY library right here for Crow Hill, and I want to rename it because I didn't use Crow Hill Company in the other Crow Hill Unified. So I have a really cool little plugin called Library Renamer that we made that helps me rename libraries quickly. So let's go over here to Review and Finder. Go up here. We want to rename it Unified Crow Hill Marshal Brass. This is a new library they just released. It's super emotional, so that's the library name I want. So I just drag this over there. It changes the files. So now when I rebuild the whole UNIFY, this is the library that I believe they had some. You can make crazy jams on the beat. Exactly. I don't think it's a 4000s. That's one he's had, and he's only played it once. Let's see here. Let's take a look together. He purchased it in 2019, so I think it will still work for. It's this one. If you can see the picture, let's see if I go over here to OBS. I'll show you guys what this looks like. Just A7S3. It's not focusing right. There we go. Yeah, I can't focus on it and exposure it at the same time. Let's see, let's go like that. And like if I go to this knob right here. It's that one. I think there's another picture of it here. I think he's just got two pictures of it, but it's older. It's 2019, so it's not the latest and greatest, but I think it would be sufficient for sending MIDI data. I have a breath controller with my DX7 I use sometimes, and there's other times where I want to play MIDI with it. So that would be really fun to have that as an opportunity to work with. So okay, so anyway, now that it's refreshed itself, we see now it says it's named properly. So this is 3 euphoniums, excuse me, and a trumpet, I believe. Let's play the normal first. It's really, really beautiful. It's very somber. It's kind of the World War II. That kind of vibe. There's staccatissimo, which is for all the really, if you've seen the Alien films, they have do that kind of thing. There's a really lovely legato, which and again, I can use this. Now the interface for the plugin itself is right here. Hello. And it's called Marshal Brass. And they have it at an introductory £99 is the asking price. Let's see, Crow Hill Company. Is right here is their website. And it is lovely right here. So you can get information on it. Let me get you the link. And their link wasn't working, so you have to go to the store. Oh, there it is. It was very busy last night. I think it's been selling well, and their website's running a little slow. But it was recorded at Assumption Hall in Glasgow, Scotland. So it came out very nice. They have demos and all that kind of stuff for it that you can check out. Here is the link in the video description. If you want to investigate this some, there is no demo, of course. It's just a sample library with a nice interface. Although I will say it's kind of weird if you've noticed the mod wheel's on the left, the pitch bin is on the right. So the mod wheel is definitely the key for getting it to be more alive. So if you need those kind of lines and stuff, it's really, really unique for that. It does have a key switching, so you can call up different, say you want to go to the longs and have the sustains, and then you want to go here to this and have this be the staccatissimos. And then you can use your keyboard, or you can click here to like go from. So it can sustain them and play them all at the same time if you want, which is cool. I found a bug. Inside of the UNIFY library, I actually have set up a macro control. If we get this to like shrink down here a little bit and call up, I would just make sure you can see this because my window might make this go away. So let's see. I have the macro knob set up for, on the second page, bank. And it will switch between the different banks. So you can cycle between the different banks. Unfortunately, it doesn't switch sounds. It's showing you that it's visually changing, but it doesn't actually change the sound. I'm on staccatismos, right? I'm not going legato. If I go up here and click it, but they have inside of the plugin the ability to assign each of the bank on and off for switching. So I set up a slider so it will go through all 8 banks, but they didn't test it this way, I guess, so it isn't able to do it. But anyway, we have unified the patches. There's not a lot of patches because it really is a really specific thing. There's sustains, there's accented, which is nice, which has a little extra. Versus the normal, which would be just. And the Poco, the trumpet, has a little bit of vibrato. Right? I set up some really cool effects in here. So you have auxiliary delay. For that kind of a vibe, as well as reverb. And then you have control over each of there's 3 stems. There's close, so if you want more air, let's turn off the reverb for a second and the delay. Close. Gives you the close vibe with air. There's also a really cool thing called room tone, which is right here in the interface, which brings up the ambient room noise. So if you want to have it be like there's microphones and they're cooking through compressors and stuff, you can do that as well. Very nice. Definitely worth the price. The release, I wish it could go a little bit shorter, but you know, especially when you get to some of these, if you get to some of the what they call shapes, like the crescendos and so forth, these they play to the end, which you can use for cool cinematic effects and matrixy kind of things and stuff like that. Hey there, Wolf Kid, how you doing, man? Wolf Kid. Anyway, so just so you're aware of it, let's make this a unified library. So I have to go over here and I have to make a folder called libraries. And let me look at it to make sure I spelled it right, because I've been known to spell it wrong. Yeah, I spelled it wrong. Let's see, libraries. And then we put this library, the whole library, reveal in the Finder. So we go up here to the libraries and we say put Crow Hill Marshall, because I want this, when you drag this over UNIFY, it will put the libraries, this folder, into the libraries folder, which is where it needs to go to be placed, right? And all I have to do now is compress it, Libraries, and let's give it this. So we go Crow Hill, Brass, VST3, because I'm using the VST3 version of the plugin. Let me go to my Mr. Dropbox, to the Unified Libraries. I don't think I need, now I need to go like this. I'm going to make it a .guru file. Guru, G-U-R-U. And it says, yes, use Guru. And then I'm going to compress this. So you will unzip it. It'll be a zipped file. But it's just a .guru file. You just drag that over the interface of UNIFY. And off you go. All right, so let's see. Let's rename this Crow Hill Marshal Brass. And then I put Unified at the end of the name. Unified. Okay, so there it is. Copy the Dropbox link. If you own this library and want these, there they are. Right? So it's pretty cool stuff. All right, so let's get into AI. I have some AI plugins that will show inside of Logic. Let me get this set up properly so that it is in screen. These are kind of crazy. I gotta tell you, I'm going to show you something. This is experimental. This is, there's a long ways to go before they get to where it's like, you know, drop dead. Oh my gosh, what are you doing? That's crazy. But it's still very, very cool what it's doing. So let's go. It's dataminedaudio.ai. Let me give you the link in our little chat so you can go check these guys out. They were kind to send. I didn't mean to send two. Let's see. Oh, I see. I sent two messages. Let's see. Hold on a second here. Data mined. Copy. Now go over here and go to here and paste. It ain't pasting from my browser. What the heck? So let's go. All right, all of you, right click, copy, paste. There we go. Okay, there they are. Sorry for the added spammage. Let's do this. I'm going to drag over. I'm trying to think how I can show this to you best. They have a couple really interesting things going on. Let's do this. Let's first go to UNIFY inside of Logic. And let's have some fun. Let's try Moonflower Tapes through AI. See what this does. They have two different plugins that are really, really cool. The first one has, let's see, so this is playing, oh, this is just the MIDI. So I want to go up here to the XX versions, like Paper Boats in the Rain. I gotta be slower probably. And I gotta turn it up. Let's see, let's go. These might not work. I might need to go. Let's see what happens. Let's call this up. Let me sequence a note so I'm gonna sequence it like it's a song, right? You're working on a song. Okay, so we have a nice little repeating. Let's loop that so we don't have to do that. And let's go over here to audio plugins, data mine. They have two different ones. We're going to use Combobulator first. This is one where they have, and they're working with artists. They pay them. I'm not sure if it's a royalty basis. I'm not sure how it all works, but they have all these artists that will it basically is remixing and applying elements from their skills, what they do and stuff, to your track, to your full mix. So now if we call up this and we say play, it's doing Mr. Bill things. And then you have all these controls for changing what it does. It's just nuts. I mean, it sounds really cool. And you have all these different, you basically have these different like databases of sounds over here. And then you have presets over here for what it can do to them. So if we start again, let's see over here. A second. It's crazy. It's just able to do, it's using your music and these databases to make something cool and new. It's just really, really interesting. I'm doing to a full mix. And then again, there's controls here for the blend, how the encoder works, the duration, the offsets and scaling. I mean, there's LFOs and all sorts of modulation sources you can add to this, but it's experimental land, man. It's like, what weird place do you want to take your mix? Again, it's doing that to this. Let's do something else. Let's go to UNIFY and let's call up, I wanted to load some other things. So I've got like Titan 303. So I have some BPM. Let's see, where did I put the grooves? This is where it does everything all at once, right? So let's see if let's find one of these. It's like, where's the drums? Turn these guys on. Let's see what it does to this. Just let's do this. Let's open it up and transpose it down an octave. Okay, let's see what it does to that, just for fun. So let's go over here to the beginning. So you can take existing elements and totally reconstruct it based on databases that are approved from people that are not lifted from songs that are copywritten. It's ethical. It's done the right way. This is the right way to do it if you're going to do it, right? Let's see here. Let's have it start this up again. Let's see if we go over here. Oh, it's taking a minute. So at least it's not doing like where you don't know where it's like drawing from. It's from databases that they have gotten licensed approval to use to work with. So I think that's the cool way to do stuff with AI. Let it be in a plugin, and now you have all these controls to play with. And again, it's doing this to this. There's latency to it. It's not real time because it's analyzing and reconstructing and so forth. But it's really, really cool. The other plugin that they have that's really interesting is called I can't say it right. Concatenator. Let's go over here to data mines. And this is even more interesting because here you feed it a database of what you want it to use for AI. Oh, there's a new version. I don't have the latest version. which means you use your own sample libraries, your own samples. What you want to feed it, it will use its engine to work with. So like if we go over here just for fun, let's see, let's turn it off to start with. Let's see, concatenator off. Let's call up UNIFY. Let's call up like, oh, I don't know. Let's try this for fun. Let's just call up a bass. And let's just play a little melody with this, right? So we'll go, let's see here. We need to go over here and say. Okay, so I have a little melody. Now, what do I want to feed concatenator that it's going to work with and change that around? I'm going to go over here. I have like 3 terabytes of samples over here that I can play with. Give it my hard drive has to wake up. It's still waking up. But this is really fun because you get to feed it what you want it to play with. So I have a lot of libraries. And I have a lot of libraries that you guys don't have because I've worked with development on different things. Let's see, if we go to vocal libraries, I'm not going to show you my whole folder because there's just so much in here. It's just crazy. But if I go over here to vocals, I have from way back in the days when sample CDs existed. This is this is Vocal Planet World. I'm going to take some Gaelic and some crooning samples and drag them in here. So it's loading up 71 samples, and now it's using those to reprocess. I've been using this to make new drum sounds, like feed it a ton of claps, and now it makes new claps. And if that's not quite right, here, let's try, let's go clear, and let's feed it a whole bunch of reggae samples. And say, here, try this. So we put reggae samples in. And now those become the source, and then there's... So you can use it. I've used it for all sorts of crazy things. For making new source. I'm just playing a note now. And it's messing up all these samples in cool, weird ways. So it's really looking at how to process and do things. This is eating up a lot of processing power because what I have is set to too many particles, I think so. So anyway, if you're into experimental and like making new source that's crazy and out there that is like legit, there's some vocal singing plugins that are also really, really cool. Yeah, it sounds like the tuning knob. You know, I haven't played with these enough because I'm in drum programming mode. So I've sat and played with these enough to like, well, I think I could show you guys. It's really fascinating stuff. But the combobulator is the one that's really interesting for mixes, to change mixes and transform it in interesting ways. This is more a sound design tool. I've seen some cool examples where people play melodies and they have, like, if I go over here, let's find, instead of these samples, let me go like Symphony of Voices. Let's use like soprano singers. Let's see, if we repeat a whole bunch of soprano O samples, what happens? So it's trying to, and again, I'm playing. And again, I don't probably have this set. I'm getting into computer glitchy stuff, I think, because too many particles. Just the fact that you can create from singing samples and a synthesizer note. You know? So if I mean, I'm not showing that in its best light, probably, and I apologize for that, because I think it still has the reggae samples in there too. So if I wanted, I could say clear, and let's just have it. Let's go like this. Go like this. Open up a couple of samples. Let's get some choir samples, some just female vocal samples, and put these in here and see what happens. A little more interesting. These presets that change the parameters around it. Cool stuff. Okay, so anyway, DataMind has some really cool plugins. They were very kind to send them to me so I could tell you about them. And I think it's cool that you can put your own database that you want it to extrapolate and work from, and they keep updating this. The latest update probably has some other cool features that I'm not even showing and stuff like this. The stereo effect improves it. Yeah. Well, and that's a button here. You can have it treat it stereo or independent so that it's separate samples. And again, it's all based on the samples that you give it and what you're trying to do. But if you want to experiment with some of the AI tools that are out there, this is definitely into. And it's doing this. Me playing this. And let's try one more thing. Instead of this, let's give some drum samples, because a friend of mine was showing me how to do this. Let's see if we go. Let's see. Go to my drums. Drum hits. I have way too many folders. Let's go to. Do I have maybe like these are Burning Groove drum samples. So this is a whole bunch of stuff from Spectrasonics Library. So if I go clear, I'm just going to feed it some snares. See what happens if I go like this. So it's now trying to pitch them. Again, I don't know what I'm doing, so. So, yeah, you can make new sounds from all sorts of things. Here's the different presets. It's experimental for sure. So, you know, anyway, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but that's pretty cool what you can do. So, right. Okay, so just be aware of those dataminedaudio.ai. Some really, really cool tools for experimenting if you're into that kind of stuff. And delicate nuance, yeah. A mutant button would improve it greatly. Good comment, touche. Okay, so let's go back up here. Let's get UNIFY going. Let's make one groove for Groove Summit, and we'll call it a day. I got you the link for the Crow Hill Brass, right? So that's done. I'll put it into the video description after the live stream has ended, so it will be there as well. Okay, so you have it. Let's see here. Let me get to OBS and make sure that I got my window sized properly so you can see everything there. And let's make it a little bit taller. Cool. And let's go here. Let's do this. I'm going to turn this off because that one there. That we don't have a bright. I got to figure out what to do with the ring light because it helps with skin color and all that kind of stuff to just have it there as a little bit of a presence. But man, it's bright. All right. Groove Summit. Let's play with these new acoustic drum grooves that I found and have programmed up. So if we go now, when I say you can click here and drag to change the name without resizing the window, so you can see all the window, because these patch, I'm kind of organizing this in a weird illegal way, but I want it to be organized to itself, and so it's a little kind of like its own little world. Let's see, what we want to play with. Let's play with the new Dead High groove, Solid Gold, Techno Alive. Let's do this. Why not? Let's do a techno. Well, I got other techno grooves already. Let's do something different. Let's do side stick. How about if we go for like a chill? Let's go for something kind of chilly. So in this case, I'm going to hold down Option and I'm going to click Init. So it brings it down to just one layer. So I can load this as a UNIFY layer. So that way, this whole grid, this old groove is just one layer. And then if I open this up, it's all the layers of UNIFY, stuff like that. So yeah, I want to do stuff like this so we'll be able to figure out, make sure that we have, so if we set this to like UNIFY layer multi-output, that it'll work with getting to these output assignments that we set up, if you set up for the kicks and stuff like that, right? This way, since it's a UNIFY layer for everything, I can go over here to distortion. Let's chill it out. Chow tape model is great for this kind of stuff. Go to low tape. Bring down the tape. Totally take out the life if you want. Turn on degrade. Okay, that's a little bit too dark. All right, that's a good vibe. So let's go over here to the UNIFY layer option for the percussion and stuff like that. So let's say, oh, my congas are busted still. So let's go like this. Oh, I can't fix it. Okay, well, let's go to shakers and stuff like that. Let's add a little shaker really quick. How about a cowbell? Here's mute fun. Why not? Cowbell. End of delay, just to kind of sit there in the background. That's nice. Let's have another shaker. And let's go find ourselves some weird groove up here. Maybe a break beat, so let's go to camp 2. Are you sure? Yeah. And since this is being loaded as a unified layer, what's nice is I can open this up and go, that's not quite right. Sorry. Let's put this into a room. I think on this third page here, I have the reverb. Where's it at? Oh, it's on the, That's a cool vibe. Let's see what else we can do over here. So let's go to the camp 5. Actually, camp 4. This is a camp that's going to be expanded to like 200 patches, and it's only a handful of patches right now. So we could say load the 4 on the floor kick. And this is a map. Check this out. This by itself is, I have a map right here of all the synth kicks. So it has all of these electronic kicks. And there's all sorts of vibes. There's the trashy, there's the techno, there's the clean. Now let's add the side breakbeat. So we'll go right here and say load this into a... And again, this is one of those where if I go over here and say all the snare menus, I have access to all of these snares on pitch. And there's some crazy snares in there. So there'll be hi-hats, there'll be complete grooves, all sorts of stuff. And I have drum kits at the end of the list here. Let's have some fun with a drum kit really quick. So we go down here to drum kit camp 4. Let's use one of the future kits. Load that into a new UNIFY layer. So yeah, that'll be perfect with a nice chill groove, right? And let's go over here to UNIFY MIDI box. And because it plays by general MIDI, they're mapped to the same notes as the other grooves. So if we go to Groove Summit and we say click, here's our drum grooves. So let's go to one of the acoustic drum kits and just load one of those up. And let's see, I've got to get this set up right to play only. And then I can cycle through all the grooves. That's cool. Now, for this groove, let's see here. This is just, it's not a unified layer by itself. So let's get this to have some cool processing on it. Let's have a little bit of delay. Oh, you know, it's not doing it to everything yet, is it? So I got to go over here and say duplicate all layers. Oh, and we'll have to fix this in UNIFY 2, but there's a bug where if the layer is not layer 1, oh, whoops, I got to be layer 1. If I don't do it to layer 1, then this replicate command won't work. But now that I've done that and it's on layer 1, now delay will assign it to all of them properly. So now So, 9 layers. I'll have to check it with speakers to make sure it's the right mix. Let's do this. We'll call it Summit Grooveaholic 2. So I'll keep building on this. We've got a couple more weeks probably till this comes out. We'll see. It's like, I like giving you guys progress reports each week with what we're doing and stuff like that. So just think, is it easy to change the snare on the fly while playing in a groove live? It could be. That's the thing that's fun with this, is you could set up a macro knob to play and change just the snare in one of the groove layers easily. It takes a little bit of programming work and stuff to set it up, and you have to know about how it works. But yeah, you can do that. In fact, I have it set up so if you go to the drum kits, I'm gonna have, it's not quite there yet, but if we go drum map, these are the drums assigned to the general MIDI notes that you would want them to be assigned to, which means there will be a whole bunch of maps for all these things. It's one of the ways it's going to get to 1,000 patches, because if you say ride, it calls it up, and it's only playing on F sharp here, up here on the keyboard. And then if I go over here and I say UNIFY instrument 1, and I go down here to drum maps, and I go to kicks, and I say kick, and I load a snare, and I load hi-hats. Now so the drum map are the drum sounds assigned just to specific notes. So if I said load this to a new instrument 1 layer, now I have 2 kicks. And this snare, it's a Guru sampler map, which will be, this is not so easy to change. You don't want to do that anyhow, do you? It's just a test, tricky question, I know. So you could play a set of Roland drums, etc. You could use MIDI drum controllers from Roland or something like that, absolutely. All right, Wave Sequence left, so it's good to see him. I missed saying goodbye to him. Thank you all for joining. It's been very, very fun. Again, we've got some sales ending on libraries at the website. Let's do shout outs really quick. Sounds great. Oh, thank you, Northwood. Great. Shout out. Yeah, you guys are already on it. Shout out from Eagle. Can you activate Aftertouch in UNIFY? You can play any plugin that responds to Aftertouch and it will work. I'm not deep in, I don't like Aftertouch. I've never been a fan of AfterSwitch on keyboards. For UNIFY 2, I think we're looking at adding a little bit more of those types of controllers. But for the voicing that I've done for UNIFY, I use the mod wheel because you have control. It will stay where you want. It's more stable. I'm not a fan. So many, you have no idea how many corners are cut on the Aftertouch part of keyboards. And it just, it's very few things are doing it right. And so I don't use Aftertouch a lot. So it's not important to me. Any plugin that you load up that responds to Aftertouch, of course, UNIFY is going to let you Aftertouch from your control keyboard to it easily. Yes, it does that, of course. But the patches that you find inside like the standard library and all of these libraries, I use the mod wheel for like doing varying of patches, timbre and brightness and so forth. I like that a lot better. Shout out from Japan, down under, Dover, Florida. Good to see you, Dub. And let's see. Let's see. Peaches in Arizona. Good to see you. Thanks for hanging out. Good to see you all. The heart of the lowlands. Right on, Rob. Awesome. 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 Down under Melbourne, Australia. Gee, Glenn, what time is it in Australia? Is it a weird time in Australia right now? Because it's 16 hours ahead of us. My web designer lives in Sydney. So I wonder what time it is there. Hey Siri, what time is it in Sydney, Australia? Oh, it's 8:43 in the morning. So you have the rest of the day ahead of you. Love it. All right. Well, thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed this. We had a good time bringing it to you, and we'll see you next week. We'll do it all over again. All right. Have a great week, everybody.